Hi, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about every book that I read this summer because unfortunately today's August 22nd, which means summer is almost over. So I thought I would go through every book I've read in July and August because I didn't do a wrap up for July, so I thought I'd just do them combined. August obviously isn't over, but I don't think I'm going to be finishing too many other books past the ones I talk about here. If you want to keep up with what I'm reading currently, my TBR, what I'm planning to read next, all that, you can follow me on TikTok. I post a lot there, and you can also follow me on Goodreads or the Storygraph if you want to see what I'm currently reading. But yeah, let's just get into it. Okay, so July started off interestingly because I only read one book in June, so starting July I was like still kind of in reading slump, but I started off by finishing Recitatif by Toni Morrison, which is a short story about these two girls. One of them is black and the other is white, but you don't know which is which, and it did take me a really long time to read it because I was in a horrible reading slump, but I did read it and I finished it, and I thought it was really good. It was very thought-provoking and a really intriguing concept, and I thought it was executed very well, and I'm really excited. Like, I really want to read more of Toni Morrison's work. The bluest eyes on my TBR. Don't mind my cat purring. So yeah, it was a great way to start the month. Yes is high. And then I followed that by rereading Heartstopper Volume 1. When I read it the first time, I read the ebook, and I got the physical book copy on hold, so I reread it. I counted that reread, but I didn't count any other rereads of the rest of the Heartstopper series. I don't know. I don't know why, but that one's in there, and I don't feel like removing it. So yeah, I loved it as much as the first time. It was really nice to like have it in my hands and hold it. Oh yeah, I forgot to say star ratings. I gave Recitatif 4.5 stars, and Heartstopper Volume 1 has 5 stars already. And then I read The Family of Liars, which is the We Were Liars prequel book. I gave Family of Liars 3.5 stars. I thought it was really good. Basically it's like a prequel about the adults. So in We Were Liars, it's like Cadence and then like her parents, then her grandparents. The prequel book is about one of the parents on the island. If you read We Were Liars, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, it's about like the previous generation, and all these crazy things happen on the private island, like off the coast of Massachusetts. And it was really good. I did really like it. It was like definitely shocking and intriguing, like how We Were Liars was, but I think I preferred the format of We Were Liars, how it was all leading up to that main one plot twist, whereas this one kind of had like multiple plot twists. I feel like the author tried to kind of dissect the privilege of the main characters and like classism, and you know, kind of how recognizing like how privileged the characters are. It didn't come off super well for me. It's like when I was reading those parts where the main character was like kind of talking about how privileged she is and how she knows how privileged she is, it felt like the author was talking rather than the character. It didn't really make sense for her to be having those kinds of revelations. I feel like in reality she would probably like not be that, you know, aware of like how privileged she is. Hi, okay, so it's me editing, and I just want to also add that especially within that time period, because it's set in like the 80s or the 90s, and they didn't have social media, they didn't have phones, and she also mentions how much she doesn't even pay attention to the news that much. Like, they don't really talk about the news in the outside world. It doesn't really make sense for her to have that level of class consciousness and like be so aware of her privilege. That's what I'm trying to say. Maybe she would, but like I just feel like it didn't really make sense, and it kind of felt like it was the author just trying to put that in there to like acknowledge that fact. But either way, it was still good. It was an enjoyable read, and I would recommend it if you've read We Were Liars. Then I read another like sequel book. I read Good Girl Bad Blood by Holly Jackson, which is the second book in the Good Girls Guide to Murder series, and oh my god, it was so good. I like finished it in like a day. Oh, had me on the edge of my seat. It was like as good as the second one. It definitely got darker, and I liked it so much that I don't know if you can see it on my bookshelf, but I actually went and bought the third one because I still haven't read it, but I was like a little bit worried because A Good Girl's Guide to Murder to me ended off like very wrapped up. Like, you could read A Good Girl's Guide to Murder that book like as a standalone, honestly. But I love the characters so much and I love that world that I was like ready to like dive back in. And it's like the same premise. Pip is like investigating something that happens in her town, and we get to see some of like some new characters, and also the aftermath of like what happened in the first book with like her friends and everything. It was really good, and I gave it 5 stars, and I'm so excited to read the third one. I'm also excited to read more of Holly Jackson's work. Also, speaking of Girls Guide to Murder, I found out that the British version is like different than the American version. I know they have different covers, which is like very normal, but apparently they changed. So in the ones I read, I have the American ones. It's like, what is it? It's Fairview, and it's like they're American, but in the British one, it's like they're like British and it's like different. I don't know why they changed it. I guess so that American readers would understand the story better. I don't know, but apparently some like plot points are a little bit different and the characters are a little bit different. But I don't know, but I'm curious to read the British ones now, so I'd have to do that, but we'll see. So yeah, that was amazing. And then I read Heartstoppers Volume 3 and 4. Oh my god, I loved them so much. Heartstopper Volume 3 was like their trip to Paris, which made me so jealous. Like, why can't I go on a school trip to Paris? What the hell? It was so good, just like seeing Nick and Charlie's relationship blossom, but also like their friend group. It just made me so happy to read about them having fun in Paris. And the fourth book, which touches a lot on mental health, it like touched me so much, and I thought it was like a really good portrayal of mental health and like really important. I really connected with that, and it was really cool to read that like kind of representation. I just think those books are incredible. I can't wait for season 2 of the show. I know that Volume 5 is coming out soon. I need to like buy them so I can own them and just reread them till the end of the earth, because they are literally amazing. Then I reread Normal People. Okay, wait, let me grab that actually. The rest of the books are books I own. I reread and annotated Normal People because I bought this copy back in like I think January because I wanted to reread it, and I annotated it. I think this is like the most I've ever annotated a book before. I have a TikTok where I show some of my annotations if you want to see that. But I reread this, and honestly, I know that, and okay, because the first time I read this is one of the first bookshop books I've ever read. And the first time I read this, it was still when it was like getting introduced to TikTok, and like people hadn't really like formed like solid opinions yet. And now it's like kind of controversial, and people either love this book or hate this book, and I have to say I am on the lover side. Like, it's so good to me. I don't know, I just think the way Sally Rooney writes is so like intriguing, and she's so good at like conveying the emotions of the characters through writing and through the writing style, and just think it's so good. I think it's an amazing character study. I think it's so realistic. It talks about so many like important themes, and just like growing up and coming of age and like falling in love and all that. I think it's amazing, and my original rating was 4 stars. I think I changed it to 5 stars because I really like this book. I really do. I'm sorry, it's good. I don't care. Then I read Anne and the French Kiss, which is one of my sister's books. I can't be bothered to go get it. The young adult romance, contemporary romance, and I think it's my first time, at least in a while, reading like a young adult romance, and I actually loved it so much. I wasn't expecting to like it as much as I did. I thought it was so sweet and so cute. There's some questionable things that happened. Like, this is kind of a spoiler, I guess, but like there is a little bit of the cheating trope. There's not really ever like outright point blank cheating, but like the lines are blurred. Some lines are crossed, the lines are blurred. It's not exactly the best situation, but I thought the romance on that was so cute, and it was just really fun to like read something different, because before that I had kind of felt like a little bit burnt out with romance, because I just feel like all the books I've been reading are like the same and have the same tropes, and I can predict exactly what's going to happen, and it got a little bit boring. And I don't even read romance that much, but it just got a little bit boring for me. But it was nice to have like that break and change from like the usual romance that I read. And then every year for like the past few years, me and my sister have been doing this competition where we see who can reread Harry Potter the fastest, because we've both reread it a lot, and like we both love the books. And so I read the first 3 Harry Potter books. Obviously I did not win. I never win. My sister always wins because she's read them a million more times than me, and she's an incredibly fast reader. But I read the first 3, and I'm actually still reading the 4th. I'm not gonna talk about them too much, just in case it wasn't clear. I don't support J.K. Rowling. I just have a very strong emotional connection to these books, so that's my stance. And I read Book Lovers by Emily Henry. This like solidified Emily Henry as one of my favorite writers for me. I read Beach Read, and it's like one of my favorite books of all time. I love that book so much. I read People We Meet on Vacation, and I liked it, but not as much as Beach Read. But this was amazing. Oh my god, it's so good. I'm not gonna say what it's about because like you probably have seen it a million times. What I love about Emily Henry and her romance is she's so good at like writing, first of all, fully fleshed out real characters with real issues and like human problems. And like flaws, they have flaws, but their flaws aren't to the point where like you hate the characters and they're so annoying because like they're the worst people ever. And she's also so good at like writing secondary plot lines that are so like important to the story, but like don't take away from the romance. It almost like they almost add to the romance, and also allow the characters to be even more like fully fleshed out real characters, because I feel like a lot of times in romance books the characters just exist to be together. Like they don't really have any character traits other than liking each other, and I don't like that. And I like when a romance book has like other plot lines and focuses on those plot lines and like gives both plots of like the romance and like the secondary plot line a fully fleshed out like beginning, middle, and end, and everything like that. That's part of the reason why I didn't love The Hating Game. Yeah, so I give that 5 stars. I'm moving into August, and my cat just won't stop purring. I'm sorry. It's gonna be in the background. Sorry. Now, how many books did I read in July? I think I read like 13 or 14 books in July. And it's August 22nd, and I've only read 4 books, which is like very upsetting to me. But I was on such a roll for like the first like week and a half of July, and I reread the Percy Jackson series for the first time since literally elementary school. I honestly don't remember a lot. I don't even remember how the series ends. As I'm reading it, like some things are coming back to me, but it feels like my first time reading it. And so I reread The Lightning Thief, The Sea of Monsters, The Titan's Curse, which I think is my favorite, and The Battle of the Labyrinth. And I'm currently reading The Last Olympian. It's on my bed over there. I don't get it. I finished The Battle of the Labyrinth on August 11th. It is August 22nd, and I still haven't finished The Last Olympian. And I've been in a horrible reading slump for like the past 2 weeks. And it's very frustrating. It's very frustrating to me. But finally today, like after I ate breakfast, I actually like had the urge to read, which I haven't like felt the urge to read like in the middle of the day in literally like weeks. And I've just been reading, and I have like about like 150 pages left now, so I'm hoping to finish the book today. But I mean, that's probably not going to be the last book I'm going to read for the month. I'm not sure what book I'm going to read after. I feel like that's like a good place to like end the summer reading, because honestly I'm done with summer and I'm so ready for fall. Fall is like my thriving season. It has always been my favorite season since I was a kid. I love it. It's the perfect weather for me. So anyways, I'm rambling at this point, but those were all the books I read this summer. Obviously this isn't the full stack, but yes, I'm pretty proud. I'm pretty happy. I caught up a lot on my reading goal. I was like 10 books behind my reading goal, and now I think I had caught up. Now I think I'm like 1 book behind because of my reading slump again. I caught up on my reading goal. I read so many different kinds of books and genres. It was a good summer for reading. I mean, I'm proud of myself because I've already surpassed how many books I read last year. Last year I read I think 34 books, and I've already read I think 37 books at this point, and we're only halfway through the year. So that makes me really happy about, you know, how far I've come. It's been years since I got back into reading. I used to be a big reader when I was younger, and then I kind of fell off, but I got back into it because of like Book Talk and BookTube, and that's really why I started this channel, because BookTube have played such a role in me getting back into reading that I want to like pay it forward. So yeah, if you could subscribe, turn notifications, comment, like anything helps. If you want to like be friends on Goodreads or TikTok or Pinterest or anything, like comment your handles down below if we can be friends. I'm so down. Yeah, I just love this community, and I hope you enjoy this video. It's been a great summer. I hope it's been a great summer for you. But yeah, that's all from me.